Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've got an intense and emotional story for you today that's all about betrayal, resilience, and how life can change in the blink of an eye. Imagine building your life with someone you trust, only to have that trust shattered in the worst way possible. That's exactly what happened to Brian Williams, a history teacher who thought he had it all, until one day, everything came crashing down around him. It all started when Brian came home early from a conference, only to find something that didn't belong, a sleek, black Audi parked in his driveway. As he stepped into his home, he had no idea that the discovery he was about to make would turn his world upside down. What would you do if you found out that the person you trusted the most wasn't the person you thought they were? Stick around, because this story is about how Brian faced the unthinkable, took back control of his life, and made a powerful decision that changed everything. Let's dive into the story right now. You won't believe what happens next. Eric Johnson, a high school history teacher, had always been the steady, reliable type, content with his family life and career. His wife, Emily, a talented marketing manager, and their young daughter, Lily, were his world. After a long conference on modern history, Eric was excited to return home early, surprised to find a sleek black Audi parked in his driveway, a car he did not recognize. Confused, he entered the house, hearing Emily's voice from the kitchen. As he walked in, he overheard her on the phone, speaking in a tone far too intimate for his liking. "I miss you too. Can't wait to see you again soon," Emily said, her words sending an icy chill down Eric's spine. He stood frozen in the doorway, the realization dawning on him slowly. The signs were all there: Emily's recent distant behavior, late nights, and frequent work trips she never seemed to mention in detail. But hearing her so openly affectionate with someone else was a gut punch. "Who is he?" Eric demanded, his voice a mixture of disbelief and anger. Emily looked up in shock, clearly caught off guard. Her face turned pale, and she slowly hung up the phone. "It's James," Emily admitted, her voice shaky. "James Calloway. He's my coworker. We've been seeing each other for a while now." Eric's mind spun as Emily, in a calm, almost detached way, told him everything. James, a charming and successful colleague, had turned out to be more than just a coworker. The betrayal hit Eric hard. But instead of pleading, he simply turned and walked away. The next few days were a blur for Eric. He couldn't sleep, eat, or focus on anything. As Emily left to stay with James, Eric's world crumbled around him. He rifled through their bedroom, searching for answers, finding hidden phone numbers and messages from James that left no doubt in his mind about the affair. The trust had been shattered beyond repair. In his search for more answers, Eric found credit card statements, hotel bookings, and even a receipt for a weekend getaway that Emily had claimed was for work. As he stared at the evidence, something inside him snapped. This wasn't just about his marriage, it was about his dignity, his life, and his future. Eric's friend, Tom, a lawyer who had been there for him through thick and thin, offered a listening ear. Eric recounted everything: the betrayal, the lies, and the gut-wrenching discovery. "You need to protect yourself," Tom advised. "Get the evidence, prepare for a divorce, and don't let them make you feel small." Eric rented a small apartment on the outskirts of town, a temporary haven where he could think and start over. He began the painful process of untangling his life from Emily's. He started taking notes, gathering evidence for the divorce, and making arrangements to file. Every document he reviewed, every message he uncovered, was like another dagger in his heart, but it also fueled his resolve. "I want out," Eric said to Tom one afternoon, his face set with determination. "I'm filing for divorce. And I want to make sure she's held accountable." Tom nodded in agreement. "It's going to be tough. But you're doing the right thing." With the divorce papers ready, Eric arranged a confrontation with Emily at their home. It was a tense moment, one full of anger, betrayal, and sorrow. As Emily walked in, her face still flushed from her time with James, Eric laid out all the evidence. "You need to sign these," Eric said, his voice steady but strained. "This is over, Emily. It's over." Emily's eyes darted from the papers to Eric's face, then to the divorce papers in his hands. She looked defeated, but also strangely resolute. "I never wanted this to happen," she said, her voice cracking, but her emotions seemed distant. "But I'm not going back. Not to you, not to this life." The weeks following the confrontation were filled with drama. Emily, with James's support, made an attempt to contest the divorce. She spread rumors about Eric, painting him as a bitter, jealous man. The community, friends, and even colleagues seemed to side with Emily, leaving Eric isolated. But Eric stood tall. He didn't engage in petty rumors, nor did he lower himself to their level. Instead, he focused on the one thing he could control, his future. As Eric's lawyer delved deeper into Emily and James's finances, they uncovered something that would change everything. James had been embezzling funds from his company, using his relationship with Emily as a cover. Eric now faced a difficult choice: use this newfound information to his advantage in the divorce battle, or report it anonymously and let the law take its course. Eric spent sleepless nights agonizing over the decision. But in the end, his integrity won out. He anonymously reported the embezzlement, ensuring that the right thing was done, even if it meant less leverage in his divorce. As Emily and James faced legal consequences for their actions, Eric slowly began to rebuild. He took on new challenges at work, and his students began to notice a change in him, his strength, his resilience. He wasn't the same man who had walked into that house months ago, blindsided and broken. He had found a new sense of purpose, one that didn't revolve around a lie. Eric was promoted at work, earning respect from his peers and his students. He began offering workshops on ethical decision-making, teaching his students the importance of standing up for their values, even when it was hard. One day, Emily sent him a message. She had completed the divorce proceedings, accepting the terms and conditions Eric had set. She apologized in her own way, acknowledging the pain she had caused. But for Eric, it was too late. He had already made peace with everything. His life had moved on. His heart had healed. "I wish you the best, Emily," he replied, knowing that his closure had come. He had rebuilt his life on his own terms, and he was ready to face whatever came next. As he stood in front of his classroom, looking at his students, he realized that life had a funny way of bringing you back from the darkest places. And now, he was stronger for it. As time passed, Eric found himself becoming more involved in his community. His colleagues, once distant and skeptical, began to respect him for how he handled everything. His ability to stay calm and composed during the entire ordeal had earned him admiration, and his integrity made him a role model. Eric was also more present for his students. The workshops he had initiated on ethical decision-making became more popular, with students attending them not just to learn about history but also to gain insight into handling life's toughest challenges. His message was clear: adversity could be faced head-on with dignity, and making the right decisions mattered. His daughter, Lily, also began to thrive. With Emily out of the picture, their bond grew stronger. Eric ensured that Lily felt loved and supported, never making her feel caught in the middle of the divorce. Together, they made new memories: weekends hiking, summer trips to the beach, and evenings spent watching movies. The bond they shared became unbreakable, and Eric knew that, despite the pain of the past, the future was bright for them both. One evening, a year after the divorce, Eric attended a dinner party hosted by one of his colleagues. He had started to open up again to the idea of a future, one that wasn't clouded by betrayal. At the party, he met Caroline, a fellow teacher at his school. She had been through her own struggles, and they quickly found common ground. The two of them began spending time together, sharing stories of their lives. Eric realized that, while he would never forget the pain of his past, he could still allow himself to experience new joys. Caroline, with her compassionate nature and understanding heart, slowly became a source of peace for him. They started dating casually at first, taking their time to rebuild trust in each other. Eric had learned from his past that relationships required more than just love, they required honesty, respect, and communication. Caroline shared these values, and with time, they began to form a deep connection. Despite the newfound peace and love in his life, Eric's journey wasn't completely without challenges. A few months later, the school district faced budget cuts, and Eric's department was at risk. Suddenly, he found himself fighting not just for his future but for the future of his students. He put his leadership skills to the test, working tirelessly to rally support from his colleagues, parents, and local community leaders. Eric knew this was his chance to make a real impact. He organized fundraising events, reached out to former alumni, and started an online campaign to save the history department. His efforts paid off, and the department was not only saved but expanded. Eric was recognized for his role in leading the charge, earning him accolades from the school board and a renewed sense of purpose. He had transformed yet another challenge into an opportunity to make a difference. One evening, several years after the divorce, Eric received a call from Emily. Her voice was shaky, and she sounded desperate. "Eric, I need your help. I've made a mess of things. James and I," she paused, the regret palpable in her voice. Eric listened patiently as she explained that things with James had fallen apart. She had lost her job, her reputation was ruined, and she had no one left to turn to. Emily had finally realized the consequences of her actions and, after everything that had happened, was asking for help. Eric was faced with a difficult choice. He had moved on with his life, found love, and built a meaningful future, but part of him still held on to the remnants of the man who had once loved her. After everything, could he find it in himself to help her? He thought about his daughter and the example he wanted to set for her, one of forgiveness, not for Emily's sake, but for his own peace of mind. After a long pause, Eric made a decision. "I can help you," he said, his voice calm and steady. "But I won't be doing it for you. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. You have to start over, but it's up to you to do the work." Eric's decision to help Emily wasn't easy, but it allowed him to close a chapter of his life that had long been open. Emily took the necessary steps to rebuild her life, starting with a humble apology to the people she had wronged. Slowly, she worked her way back, though she would never be the same person she was before. As for Eric, his life continued to flourish. He and Caroline eventually moved in together, their love and respect for each other growing with each passing day. They got married in a small, intimate ceremony, surrounded by friends and family who had supported them through the years. Lily, now a teenager, stood by her father's side, proud of the man he had become. The family had found a new rhythm, one built on trust, respect, and the strength of their bond. Eric realized that life had a way of surprising him. Sometimes, it tore him down, but it always had the potential to build him up again. The final moments of Eric's journey weren't marked by dramatic revelations or last-minute rescues. Instead, they were quiet, reflective moments where he simply looked out over the horizon, knowing that whatever came next, he was ready. He had learned that true strength came not from avoiding challenges, but from facing them head-on with integrity. He had learned that forgiveness wasn't about letting others off the hook, it was about setting himself free. And most of all, he had learned that life was a journey, one filled with unexpected turns, but also with incredible potential for growth and transformation. Eric had faced betrayal, pain, and hardship. But in the end, he had emerged stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace whatever the future held. And as he looked forward to the years ahead, surrounded by his loved ones, he knew that his best days were still to come. So, there you have it, Brian's incredible journey of heartbreak, resilience, and ultimately, finding a new path in life. It wasn't easy, but through every challenge, he proved that you can take control of your life and rise above even the most difficult situations. His story shows that no matter how bad things may seem, there's always a way forward. If this story resonated with you or made you think about the tough choices you've had to make in your own life, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What would you have done if you were in Brian's shoes? Drop a comment below and let's discuss. Your thoughts and feedback mean the world to us. And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another powerful story like this. We've got a lot more coming your way, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay strong, stay inspired, and keep moving forward.